Where do I sit here?
Yeah, just sit on the seat there, yeah.
Just put my phone on silent. Microphone, alright. My name's Si, I'm 32 and I'm from Burnley. This is a story about me from my past, my present and hopefully my future. It all started when I was a child. I was brought up with mum, dad and an older sister by 7 years. I was brought up in and around domestic violence, which to a point where I thought that was a normal thing. Then my dad left when I was 7. I never forget that day. Yeah, it was tough. I looked up to my dad. I thought he was going to come back the week after, month after, maybe even, day after, but that never happened. He came back when I was 15. He'd moved to Leicester in the hope of trying to sort himself out, but he just came back 10 times worse. But in that time that he'd gone, my mum did everything. She was mum and dad. She did everything for me. Always provided, made sure that I had everything. So she brought me up properly and I had a good upbringing. When I became 15, I started hanging around with the wrong people and I was smoking weed. I used to just like the buzz of it. It made me feel good and I fitted in with the crowd. Started taking pills, ecstasy, MDMA, cocaine, but there was just more of a weekend thing, it weren't an addiction. I always stuck at school, I always did well. Well, I tried to do well. I was a bit of a class clown, trying to make people laugh all the time. I became 17 and I went to prison for the first time. I thought I was a bad boy and really I was an idiot. And when I got there, and I got off the prison van, reality kicked in and I was shitting it. I was so scared. I didn't know how to handle it. I started self-harming. I tried to kill myself by hanging. It didn't work out. My mum ended up coming to the prison. I remember her being in tears because she knew that I couldn't handle it. But it was more of a wake-up call, I think, because I was non-stop hanging around with the wrong people, committing crime, saying, you know, I was a bit of a problem child a little bit, but it was a kick up the backside, but it didn't sort me out because I'd be released from prison, giving it all the, yeah, I'm gonna sort my life, I'm gonna do better, but I used to throw it back in people's faces for the people who tried to help me. From the age of 17 to the age of 29, I was in and out of prison every year without fail. I would rob anybody, I would beat people up, I would treat my family like scum. At this time around 18, I'd gone to a party and it wasn't peer pressure, it was influence. I tried my first crack pipe and once I had it, I was hooked. It grabbed me by the scruff of the neck. It used to make me feel warm and lovey. It just used to make me feel good for a rush that would last 2 minutes. But I was always chasing that next high, that next high, that next high. Yeah, I was addicted. Not something that I would admit, not until later in life. I was robbing anybody, I was robbing my own family. I ended up getting a name for myself. Because my name's only 2 letters, people know who I am, or knew who I was, and I didn't know who they were. I was hanging around with the wrong people, I was robbing places, I was a thug, I was a scumbag. So from the age of 17 to 29, I was in and out of prison, and I was how I used to do things. I'd go to prison, get released, tell my family and friends, yeah, I'm sorting my life out, I'm doing better. But reverse psychology, really, I was just lying to myself and everybody else. And I would go out and commit crime, try and keep it on the law, to still taking drugs. So I was in that cycle, in and out, in and out, in and out. On my last prison sentence, I was sentenced to 3 years and 8 months for 6 assaults against the police and 4 burglaries. I served half of that time, so just short of 2 years. That was a big wake-up call for me. In all the years that I've been going to prison, getting out, sorting myself out, getting back on addiction, committing crime, back in that cycle, it's no life for anybody. After I was in Preston prison for a year, I was moved to HMP Lancaster Farms, where I became a drug and alcohol mentor, and I was doing that for about a year. I met many people who'd been in addiction, some people who were a lot worse off than me, and I thought, I'm getting to the age now where I can't keep doing this, of being in and out of prison. I don't want that life, so I need to do something about it. It was a bit like a light bulb moment, but it was for myself. I want that freedom. I want to live a life like any other person. I want to live independently. So I carried on doing what I was doing, stuck to the rules. I was still a risk to the public before I was even released. Because obviously I told people, I'm going to sort my life out, and I just used to throw it back in their face. So back then it was easy to burn bridges, and like now, like they say, it takes seconds to break trust, but a lifetime to rebuild it. And I'm slowly, only now, gradually building my life back. So a few months before I was released, I was seen by a guy called Gary Benson from Horizon, who came to Lancaster Farms for an interview, and I was interviewed for a place called Mulberry, and I was accepted. I was wary and I was cautious and I was scared when I was released. I think it was because I was in that routine of prison life when I was inside, so when I was released everything was really fast. I wasn't used to all the routines of normal life, day-to-day things, so I was nervous. But I think any person who gets released from prison is nervous. That is a normal thing. But ever since I got released, I've just been feeling good. I've just been doing great. I'm excelling in life, and my recovery is awesome. By the 23rd of September, it will be a year that I've been in Mulberry, and by the 23rd of October, the month after, I will be 3 years clean from drugs and alcohol. So that's a massive achievement, to be clean so long. I'm in that stage now where I don't think about drugs, I don't think about alcohol, it doesn't even cross my mind, and I feel humble in myself. I can actually put a smile on my face to say that, yeah, I'm clean. I've been put in situations where people have used and it doesn't give me a trigger, it doesn't make me want to use. I've been around people who drink when I've gone out with family for a meal. No, doesn't make me think about having a beer. So yeah, I feel good in myself, and I think my recovery it says a lot for itself. I've recently started doing work with a company called Empowerment, and they help people with mental health. They also help people with like lived experience, or people who live on the streets, or basically they're just like a footing for people in need. And I think because I've been through that struggle myself, prison, mental health issues, I've even lived on streets myself, I know what people are going through. Was offered a placement to start working at the Harbour Psychiatric Hospital as a mental health advocate. That's an everyday struggle, and it is not easy, but it's a learning curve. Every single day is different, not every day is the same. And I deal with people they have bipolar, paranoid schizophrenic, and it's basically a voice for them, because some of them have capacity and some of them don't, and it's easy to see the struggle that they're going through, but it's hard to feel their emotion at the same time, because I can tell that when I work with the clients that I have, they are going through a tough time, but I love helping them. And I get that grateful gratitude in myself, you know, when I've succeeded something that they've needed, whether it be just someone to talk to, or if it's a situation or a case that they need solving sort of thing. So yeah, things are going really well with that. I'm doing as much training and qualifications with them. I'm literally doing my level 2 independent advocacy training as paid for by Empowerment. So things are really good, things are looking up for me. I feel good in myself, I feel fresh. Sometimes I even look at the picture of myself from 5 years ago and how disgusting that I look. I've no weight on me, I look like a drowned rat. But with the support that I've got from going to recovery meetings, so I go to 5 meetings a week. I go to all different ones because I've been through that. I go to each and every one of them because I like to relate to other people's shares. It makes me feel good because I feel like I'm not the only person when I can relate to other people's stories. I never said to myself that I was an addict until I went to prison. So in the space from 17 to 29, what's that, 9, 10, 11, 12 years, I never admitted that I was an addict. I never said that I had a problem. It was a wake-up call of being the mentor in prison, helping others, that I was an addict, that I had an issue, that there was a problem, and it needed to be solved. I couldn't keep going round in that circle. It was literally like a pyramid, and there was highs and lows of it. Because I'm not perfect, and I'm not no angel, but then again, who is? So yeah, I'm doing really well with myself at the moment. Things are getting better and better, and I'm excelling in life, and I wouldn't have this with the support that I've got. I wouldn't have this without Mulberry, the fellowship. I wouldn't have this without the people who are also in recovery around me. I wouldn't have this without the connection I've got with my family. I burnt bridges in the past, and I'm slowly repairing them now. I've got that trust back with my family. So it's the little things in life that we take for granted. If there's something that you want in life, you want to get rid of that struggle and get your foot in the door and do something about it. Because anybody who wants to succeed in life can be sat in this chair that I'm sat in right now, speaking in front of this camera, and they could tell you anything. But if you want what I have and what all the other people who are so clean and sober have, then it's not rocket science, it's reality, innit? And yeah, I'll leave it there.